You guys can ask questions.
Well, that was a great win for our team. I think it was a great example of overcoming a lot of adversity. We knew this game would be hard. We talked about trying to thrive in hard situations and certainly had the opportunity to do that. And at the end of the game, excuse me, made a couple great jobs on offense, especially the last drive. Got a couple critical stops on defense when we needed to. So you can't be more proud of the players for the way they competed in the game. So this is a great team win for us. It's a great win for us. I can't tell you how excited and happy I am for the players. They were very excited and happy in the game. Sometimes you win a game like this and it does a lot for everybody sort of coming together. Certainly had to do that to overcome a lot of adversity out there, especially in the second half and the fourth quarter. We technically, obviously, especially on defense, they had a really good plan. They played slow. They're usually a no-huddle team. They played slow. They tried to shrink the game. They tried to make it a close game, have great time of possession, which they ended up having. But we made a lot of plays on offense, explosive plays, big plays, scored, did what we had to do to score points. Defensively, we didn't do a great job of stopping the run, but you got to give Mississippi State a lot of credit. They had a good plan. They've got a good running game. The quarterback is really a handful to go with the running game. Our players hung in there and did a really good job of competing. And I don't think there's any doubt about the fact that a lot of guys that hadn't played a lot of football to this point probably learned a lot tonight, and we'll have a chance to get better, and we'll certainly work with them to do that. We did have Ross Perschbacher has a high ankle sprain. We'll do an MRI on him in the morning and probably learn as to how long he'll be out. But I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, we got a couple other guys nicked up that Doc will evaluate tomorrow, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, open up questions.
What do you say to Jalen in the offense before that last game?
I think we practiced that. You know, we usually practice a minute 20, so we were like 11 seconds off when we got the ball back. So we only had a minute 9. But I think the execution, ability to make plays when we needed to, Calvin, Jalen, Smitty in the end, they were blitzing and did a really good job of handling the blitz from an offensive standpoint at the end. We didn't do it earlier in the game, and we got sacked a few times, but Jalen did a nice job of handling it at the end.
Speak up on your questions, guys. There's a lot of
noise. You guys ran the perimeter a lot in the second half. What kind of opened up the running game for you guys in the second half?
Well, we talked about at halftime, you know, getting back to running some catch sweeps, and even when we weren't running them, to use them as, you know, sort of eye candy for the defense and try to run the ball in the perimeter a little bit more. And I think the players did a really good job of that. I mean, we moved the ball very effectively in the second half.
And Coach, talk about the spark Josh Jacobs gave the offense in the second half.
Well, you know, Josh is a different sort of cat for us in being a quick, explosive, fast guy. He's been not healthy all the time, but I think as a change of pace guy to go in there and do what he did tonight was probably the whole spark for the whole team, because just his competitive disposition about how he ran the ball, second effort, I think affected everyone out there, and that was probably a good thing. But he was very, very productive and very effective for us.
You have such a long scoring drive, touchdown drive this high of the game. How important is that for the defense to get a rest on the sideline?
Well, the defense needs to get their own rest sometimes. You know, they were 8 for 15 on third down, so we didn't do a very good job of getting off the field on third down. Myriad of mistakes, guys losing contain, guys not blitzing when they're supposed to blitz, not doing a good job of covering at times. So lots of things to correct, but we didn't do a good job on third down, and that's why we were on the field so long. So, but I do think, and I did think Brian did a really good job, that when we needed to keep the ball and give the defense some time, we did a really good job of that, and I think that was helpful in the end of the game.
Nick, you talked about this game bringing the team together. What is it about close games that can do that for a team other than a game with a large margin of victory?
Well, I think sometimes that you need hard. You know, if we're going to beat really good teams, if we're going to be able to compete, we got to learn how to compete in close games, where every play counts, where you got to play every play for 60 minutes in a game. Every third down is important. Lots of opportunities in critical situations in the game for players to make plays, and we don't always have that when we win 49-0. So it's important that you do that. And we still have big games coming up, really big games. And hopefully we can get our players better, because I do think we need to improve if we're going to be able to finish like we want to.
How hard is it to find a quarterback with the poise of Jalen?
I can't hear you.
How hard is it to find a quarterback with the kind of poise that Jalen Hurts has?
I don't think you find one, because I don't think you know when you get a guy if he has that or he doesn't. But Jalen certainly does. He doesn't get affected by a whole lot in the game. I've only seen him in 2 games last year when he was a little bit. But most of the time, the bigger the situation, the better he is. So he did a really good job tonight, and I think the players really believe in his leadership, and I think that's really critical in tough situations at the end of the game like we had tonight.
Questions?
With the injuries you guys have had, depth was talked about a lot. Today's landscape, it seems like there's a lot of transfers. A lot of kids are quick to maybe move on. How hard is it for you, with your coaches and yourself, to maintain that depth? And especially this late in the season, I think depth is so important. So how difficult is it to maintain that depth with roster?
Well, we've probably had more guys injured and missed. We've had more games missed by starters this year than any time we've ever been, that I've ever been coaching, not just at Alabama. So it's difficult. Does it have an effect? I think it does have an effect. And it has a trickle-down effect, but other players are getting opportunities now, and the thing we have to focus on is what do we have to do to help them execute and be able to get better. The thing they don't have, they have the ability, they don't have the knowledge and experience. So we have to help them gain that. And then they have to be able to gain the confidence when they get the opportunity to go in the game that they can execute and they can do it. We tried to play a couple young guys today. Sometimes they did right, sometimes not so well. So it's just a work in progress. But we have had guys transfer too. And I think that affects your depth long term, but the fact that we can attract and get, we have probably, I would venture to guess, I'd like for somebody to do a study on this, we may be playing more freshmen than anybody in the country. And the number one thing we fight in recruiting is you can't play. You won't play. Everybody tells them you're going to play when you're a freshman. Well, we play more freshmen than anybody. So our team turns over faster with guys going out for the draft. So we make decisions and play young guys and develop confidence that they can play, and they develop confidence that they can play, and they do a good job.
The defense didn't get a 3-and-out until that, there were 2 minutes to go. How critical was that moment?
Well, I think the game was on the line, and we went for it on 4th down. That ultimately tied the game up. We could have kicked a field goal there. Might have made it, might have not made it. It would have been a pretty long field goal. So for us to come right back after we tied the game up and to get a stop was critical. It was also critical that we got a penalty. 15-yard penalty. You're not allowed to take your helmet off when you go on the field and celebrate. It's a penalty. So, and you know what? We just told the team, because it actually happened and they didn't call a penalty in a game earlier in the season. So everybody was told not to do that. So, but I guess we'll learn from that too.
Last one.
How impressed were you also that Jalen won the game with his, using his arm versus maybe in the last couple of times that he's been in those situations,
I think I'm impressed that we make plays any way that we can. I don't select and say, I hope we can make them with your arm. Don't make them with your feet. Because basically, you make them however you got to make them to win. And you make all your decisions on that. So I have every confidence that Jalen can make plays with his arm. He's made them all year long.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.